Broadcasting from coast to coast. It's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. You'll hear from some of the nation's top financial professionals. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world, right here on the Financial Safari.
Hello and welcome to the Financial Safari. I'm Sarah Peterson. I'm here with two-time Emmy winner, Coach Pete, and we are talking all things finance. Good to see you.
It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to tell all the viewers your awesome story. I'm loving learning about you, and you're clearly passionate about what you do.
We have fun.
I am ready to have some fun.
Well, Sarah, life is about having fun.
I love it.
We need to make sure we remember that every single day, and a lot of people forget that, and then it builds itself. Momentum builds either positive or negative, so it's important we take a time out. Dick Vitale always says that when he's doing basketball games. Crazy Dick Vitale, and I'm doing a documentary on Dick Vitale, by the way. It's going to be out at the end of 2021. So Dick Vitale, we're interviewing Coach K, Shaquille O'Neal, and Charles Barkley. They'll all be in this documentary about Dick Vitale. So if anyone out there knows who Dick Vitale is, folks, we're going to have a watch party about this coming up in 2022, believe it or not, and hopefully it'll be mask-free.
Oh, let's all hope.
Yes.
And the reason we call you Coach is not for your love of sports, correct?
Well, I love sports.
Okay.
But I love the financial world, and more importantly, I love helping people navigate this complex financial world that we call retirement. So everything we do, when we're saving in our 401k, when we're complaining about not saving in a 401k, it's all going to build or subtract from a successful retirement. So we need to remember, I just had a client I talked to the other day, and we were talking about their 401k and how they were mad at it because it was taking money out of their spendable income and putting it into the 401k. And I said, think about your future self. Your future self is going to be very happy that you're putting more and more money in each year to the 401k, whereas your future self to be very mad at you if you don't put money in or take money out, because a lot of people, because of the pandemic, have been borrowing against their 401k or taking money out. Sure. If you borrow, it's okay. I wish you would not, because you have to pay it back. You're paying yourself back. But if you take money out, not only you're taking money out of your retirement, but you're having a tax bill you're inventing, because any money in the 401k is fully taxable when you take it out. So be very careful on that. Well,
these have been obviously extreme circumstances we've seen in 2020, and so I'm sure that a lot of people are coming to you with different circumstances.
Yeah. I hear about everything, but everything's the same. When you boil it down, it comes to this. We make a certain amount of money, and it's up to us to save a certain amount of money, because everybody else out there is trying to get you to spend a lot of money. So it's the game of spend and save. My mom used to tell me that when I had my paper route back when I was 8 years old. And I used to buy candy bars. I'd collect cash on my paper route, and before I got home, some of that cash would be gone. I had a hole in my pocket. It was a convenience store where I bought candy bars all the time. So I was the fattest paper boy you ever saw, but I was very happy.
Well, you come from some humble beginnings.
I do.
I'd love for you to share a bit of your story with people, because I feel like it's quite unique.
Well, I grew up on government. Like, my dad's a college professor now. He's got his PhD. He's been teaching for 43 years, but he was in school. I was a honeymoon baby, exactly 9 months from the honeymoon night. I don't think Mom and Dad were too happy about that. But because of that, Mom had 2 more kids. So I was one of 3 boys. I can't imagine, Mom. And we were separated by less than 4 years. So 3 boys in 4 years. Ugh. And I remember myself.
She must have drank a lot.
I don't wish that on anybody. But because of that, I've seen both sides of the financial world. I've seen where we had no money. I didn't know we didn't have any money because we didn't know anything differently.
Sure.
So it's okay to be in a position where you don't have much money if you've never had money before. But the problem I see is a lot of people have plenty of money to retire right now. They continue to take risk. And so the stock market is a great superhighway if you're trying to build money. It's the emergency lane if you have enough money and you keep that risk and you lose that money, and now you have to work longer till you can retire. So folks, retirement planning is all about looking at the road you're on right now in the financial world, making sure you're going to get to the destination you want to get to. And believe it or not, many of you watching have enough money right now. If you rededicated that money to places where you have the financial fill-up strategy, where you'll get a check delivered to your mailbox each and every month, all the way through retirement, regardless of what happens in the stock market, many of you could retire sooner than you ever thought by repositioning the money into the places, we call it a growth, protection, income account. You want your money to grow. Obviously, we all want the money to grow. Yeah. But we want that money protected. We want that growth protected. What good is it to grow your money if you give it right back the next day or the next year or the next decade? So lock your gains in and then have lifetime income that you know what that income's going to be. We have a crystal ball account. Believe it or not, I can look at your assets and I can tell you with certainty what kind of income you could be guaranteed to get for you and your spouse for the rest of your life based on what you have right now. Doesn't that give you peace of mind?
It absolutely does. And you can look at people's financial situations. You can
Yeah.
give them sort of a crystal ball look into it, because we don't know. The rest of the world is very uncertain, so it's nice to have a little certainty somewhere.
Sarah, on my desk in my office, I do have a crystal ball.
I do not.
The batteries are not
doubt
working in
that.
it, but I can tell you with certainty in the safe accounts what kind of safe, guaranteed lifetime income you can get. Stock market side, can't tell you a thing. I can tell you what happened yesterday. No one can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. Have we not learned that? September 11th, 2001. Just in the last 20 years. Pandemic. Whoever would have guessed that? What's next? An asteroid? Who knows? Dinosaurs? What's going to happen? We got a Jurassic Park going to be
There
there
was
right
murder
now?
hornets, so
There you go.
I mean...
But I never saw that. Well, I don't want to see a couple of those things just so I can kill them. But no, I never saw one. Did you see one?
Fortunately, no, I did not.
Yeah, fortunately, right? And so we're taping this out in Phoenix today. Scorpions. I've never seen a scorpion. Have you seen one? I don't want to see a scorpion
absolutely,
either.
yeah.
So good thing about them is you're going to get stung because they have a tail, and the tail's going to sting you. Many of the people watching right now have scorpions in their plan that could sting them, and they don't even know they're there. And then we also have financial termites, risk, fees, commissions you're taking into your account. You don't realize how bad you're taking it. I don't know anyone who's had termites in their house, but you find out after it's too late, when you're walking on the floor and your foot goes through the floor.
I can tell you,
Oh, I
almost
guess we have
everyone
termites.
who's lived in Phoenix has termites.
Termites. So financial termites inside your plan are eating away your safe retirement right before your eyes. You don't even see it. So we can eliminate those. We can exterminate the financial termites, put together a plan that fits you and your family, that's customized and personalized from a fiduciary planning team. We are fiduciaries, which means we have to put your needs ahead of ours at every single minute in our lives.
So even
Very
someone
important.
who's sitting there watching and they have a plan, that plan may need to be reviewed, revised, and
Yeah.
a second opinion.
We meet with our clients every single year to make sure to make adjustments. So if you have a plan and you think everything's fine, but you're going back to the same person who may not be a fiduciary, they're going to tell you everything's fine just to keep your money there. If we're not fine, we're going to tell you what's fine, and we're going to make adjustments to make sure you're back on track.
Well, maybe you could share with the viewers what you're offering today
Yeah.
when they call in.
Well, we have a second opinion service. We will give you a no-cost second opinion. Usually our clients have at least $200,000 to start with, and our strategies work best for those of you with over $1 million dedicated to retirement. But we do not ever turn anyone away because we have all different divisions to help anybody in any time of their life to make sure to get on that path and then have the successful journey all the way through retirement.
And you told me, I know we were talking before, you have a 28,000 square foot office.
Yeah.
People can come in.
Yeah.
You've got a whole team dedicated to all these pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, we usually charge $1,000 for this planning sessions. It's a series of 3. We find out where you are, what makes you tick, where you want to go, and then we put together a plan that gets everything you desire reasonably. We're not going to tell you can survive if you don't have the right allocation. What good is it for me to tell you everything's fine if it isn't? So we can make adjustments and tweaks to make sure you're on the right path. That gives you peace of mind. And when you have peace of mind, it's a whole lot easier to have a good retirement.
Absolutely, and better start now
Yep.
versus later.
So when we do the TV show, we limit this to 20 people. So we're going to open the lines up today, right now, and the next 20 people that call in the next half hour, not only are you going to get the review session, but I've written 8 books. You'll get to pick 3 of the books that I've written. 2 of them bestsellers. One with Steve Forbes, Successonomics, and then my favorite one is called 7 Baby Steps. People love this book. Ties in my childhood stories to the financial world, things that you can recognize and you can identify to make sure that your plan is where it should be. So it's almost a home study course in the financial world, but you're also going to get professional tutoring from our staff to make sure you are in the right place. We'll be as hands-on as you need or as hands-off as you need, but we want to make sure that you have that correct map that'll get you to where you want to go. What's our money map? It's the X spot. The X spot is where, when you go to the map, remember going to the mall? I haven't been to the mall in a long time. What's the most important part of the mall? Is the map.
Food court. Oh, sorry.
Well, food court. See, that's where I would go. And so before you get to the food court, you had to see where you were. So X marks the spot of where you are. You had to figure out where you were so you can figure out where you're going. We help you do that in the financial world. And folks,
All right, we're going to go to commercial, and when we get back, we're going to talk more about
They
it.
should call right now.
Yep, call or text the number on your screen. When we come back, we're going to talk about those 8 books.
sounds fun?
Coach Pete, Coach Pete, financial advice, the likes of which can be beat. Coach Pete, Coach Pete, financial advice, the likes of which can be beat. So it's time, yeah, it's time for Coach Pete.
Retirement planning can be stressful, so our process is designed to put you at ease. You'll notice immediately that we are different than other financial advisory firms. During your initial consultation, we'll get to know you and give you the chance to get to know us. We want to learn all about your vision for retirement so that we can design a plan that will help you achieve your long-term financial goals. Our relaxing office environment and friendly staff will make you feel welcome and comfortable the moment you walk in the door.
Hello and welcome back to the Financial Safari. I'm Sarah Peterson. I'm here with two-time Emmy winner Coach Pete, and we're talking about all the books he's written, because man, he's written a bunch of books.
You know, and I've got 3 more that are still not done yet, and I need to finish them. I've been a little lazy on that. So
I mean, what have you been doing
books.
with your time?
Yeah, I know. It's fun. Well, my next one's going to be called The Book on Retirement, so I can say I wrote the book on retirement.
Ah.
But it's going to be a consolidation of every single thing I've ever talked about in the financial world. But that's why it's taken so long.
Well,
and I'm not happy. I did it, and I looked at the proof of it, and I didn't like it. I've got to make some tweaks on it. So it'll be out hopefully by 2022.
I mean, there's just so much, and I feel like laws are changing every day.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the more it changes, or the more it remains the same. And here's what it comes down to: the battle between risk and safety. Now, why is it a battle? Well, because a lot of people are compensated to have you take more risks than you should. Because as long as they can keep you taking risk, they can keep control of your money, and they make money on your money. Wouldn't it be great to have your money in a place that didn't have risk, but also would grow, and then give you lifetime income in the future?
100%.
And your advisor wouldn't be taking any money out of that account. See, that's good.
What are some of the biggest risks people can be that they're facing in retirement?
Well, and this is one people don't want to talk about, but inflation.
Sure.
And so why do we don't want to talk about it? Because we haven't seen much inflation. I think we'll see a lot more inflation in the next 4 years or so. So inflation means things get more expensive. Mm-hmm. And so I realize that when I'm a junk food guy, so my wife buys the real food and then I buy the junk food. When I go shopping for potato chips, and they're getting expensive.
Yeah.
And candy bars. Now we have our candy bar of the month every single month in our company here. So when you come in, you get to go home with some candy bars and you don't have to pay for them. But what I've noticed is deflation too. You know, inflation is more expensive things. Mm-hmm. Deflation is the things you were paying more money for are smaller. Mm. My hands haven't grown that much in my life, but my hands feel very big now when I hold a candy bar. They used to feel small because the candy bars are shrinking. Breyer's ice cream is, and I'm not picking on Breyer's, but that's my favorite ice cream. Used to be able to go to the store and buy, what'd you buy?
A gallon.
Half gallon.
Half gallon.
And so now it's less than a half gallon.
You can tell I'm lactose intolerant, sorry.
But what they've done, here's the funny thing, they don't put half gallon anymore, they put ounces. But if you figure out the ounces, it's less than a half gallon now. So they've shrunk the size, and a lot of times they leave the container the same, but they puff it full of air.
They're banking on the fact that people aren't doing the math, by the way.
Yeah, well, I do the math, and sometimes it's a detriment to me because I want to enjoy my ice cream. I don't want to think about that I'm not getting my half gallon anymore.
Well, this is another reason why we need a professional working with our money, because as we were talking about before, there are so many pieces to this puzzle, and if you don't have a professional, I mean, I go to the doctor when I have a medical problem, but I don't automatically have, not everybody has a financial plan or planner.
Most people don't have what they really need to. Unfortunately, you need a retirement plan inside your financial plan. And here's how you say, well, Coach, how do I know if I have a retirement plan or not? If you can look at your statements or your plan or whatever the planner you have now has given you, and if you don't see in bold print a number with a dollar sign in front of it that says this is your monthly income for the rest of your life when you choose to retire, you do not have a retirement plan. About 90% of folks who think they have retirement plans, Sarah, they don't have a retirement plan. So how can you fix that? We'll come to someone who specializes in retirement planning. You know, I am a retirement income certified professional, RICP. That's a 3-course series with 3 proctored exams for the American College. That separates someone who says they're a retirement planner from someone who really is a retirement planner. That's what I am. And so why is that important to people watching? Because every single person watching wants to retire, and they want to retire comfortably. They want to do things they want to do in retirement. So folks, if you want to have that successful retirement, or at least know that your plan is doing what it's supposed to do, and you want some of my books, and you want a candy bar or two, call the number you see on the screen, and we will waive our planning fee to make sure that you get your ultimate plan that you deserve.
Let's talk a little bit about Social Security maximization while we can, because you're talking a lot, shall we? You're talking a lot about retirement, but Social Security for a lot of people is a big chunk.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when Social Security was developed, people would retire at 65, and when would they die? 66. So it was easy to support a system like that.
Sure.
And things were cheaper back then because inflation hadn't beat up the dollar. All right, so what happens now? If you're depending on Social Security for your retirement plan, you're in a bad position. Really, let me be honest with you. You're not going to be able to do anything you really want to do in retirement because you're going to barely get by on Social Security. Coach, what do I do? Well, you probably have a 401k. Hopefully you have one at work. If you're younger, take advantage of that. If your company's offering you a match, you are killing yourself by not at least putting in enough money to get that match. That's free money from your company. If you don't have a 401k at work, that's no reason to not plan. Go open an IRA every year or save some money on your own in the stock market. Do whatever what you want to do. But what we need to do is we need to collect those assets, put them in a super IRA account, and give you retirement income that you can survive on that'll go along with Social Security. Now, what I like to do when we design a plan, we can do Social Security maximization strategies. What is that? I thought I just went down to the Social Security office, told them I want to start getting my check.
Yeah, 62, you started taking money out.
If there was a way where you could increase the size of the check by selecting the right option, wouldn't you want to find out about it?
Check the box.
90% of the folks that I know don't do that. And so when you go into the Social Security office, they're not allowed to give you information. They're not allowed to consult with you. All they're there is they'll ask you what option you want to take. And most people take one or two options, the max option or the one where if you die, your spouse gets some money too.
Or you ask the person behind the counter, what one would you recommend?
And they're not allowed to give advice. They can get fired for that. So what you need to do is, and we don't work for the government, but we know the government program. So we can work with what your situation is and tell you the best options you should take, which, Sarah, many people have added $200,000 or more to their retirement income over their lifetime by selecting the right Social Security option. So what does that mean? Many people have cost themselves $200,000 or more by not consulting with somebody who is an expert in this and making the right option selection before they go in.
It almost seems like you're being set up for failure, you know? If you don't have the right person helping you plan and there isn't like any kind of obvious answer.
The old saying, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So either you plan to fail or you fail to plan. So a lot of people are failing to plan the right way. And so just saying, well, I'm going to get my Social Security, that's my plan, what if we could maximize that? So we want to maximize your benefit.
Another thing that people don't like to talk about, and I hate that we have to talk about it, but it's a big part of of retirement planning is long-term care and what may or may not happen.
If there was a way you could have long-term care coverage without buying a long-term care policy, wouldn't you want to hear about it?
100%.
Yeah. I've been licensed to offer long-term care for about 25 years. Guess how many policies I've offered? My clients. 0. You know why? Too many games, gimmicks, and fine print in the long-term care policy. What does that mean? Well, you pay premiums year after year after year, and then you get close to retirement, and the insurance company either pulls a dirty trick, raises rates. They can raise rates, unfortunately, in long-term care policies, and then you can't afford the benefit you wanted. Life insurance. You heard of life insurance? Everyone knows life insurance. The new life insurance policies the last 5 years, and folks, if you don't have this, you really need to take a pen and write this number down, because we would do an audit of your current life insurance policy and tell you if it's a good one or a bad one or how to get the best one. Here's the best one. Big companies, by the way, A+ rated companies. Death benefit. You know what a death benefit is? It means you die, somebody else benefits.
Sure.
Hopefully your spouse, right? Or your family, or your church, or your charity. What if you could have $1 million life insurance policy, pay maybe $10,000 a year, whatever it costs. I mean, it depends on your health and your age, but let's just say you're paying $10,000 a year for $1 million worth of life insurance. So that means if you die tomorrow, you pay the insurance company $10,000 today, you die tomorrow, your husband would get $1 million. Pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But that's not a good deal for you, is it? Because you're not here anymore. What if there was a way you could benefit from your policy while you were still living, called a living benefit? What if you had to go to long-term care policy? You had this $1 million life insurance policy, right? That's what the death benefit is. You only pay $10,000 or so a year, but the benefit is $1 million. What if the long-term care, you know what a long-term care facility is?
Yeah.
They're not fun, but wouldn't you like a private room?
Sure.
About $100,000 a year. Where are you going to get that from? What if you could, and this is you're still alive, you have to go to a long-term care facility, you call the life insurance company, say, I'm going to a long-term care facility, give me $100,000 of that $1 million benefit. Every single year you can do that. So your death benefit can pay, and it's tax-free, by the way, can pay for your long-term care stay.
How is this something I'm
Living benefit rider that insurance companies have now offered, and it doesn't really make any difference in price, but the best equity you can have is your health. If you wait one day too long, maybe you won't be insurable anymore. So if you have a current policy and it doesn't have this benefit in it, your insurance company's not going to tell you.
That is fantastic.
So we can do an audit, make sure you get the right policy, and all you have to do, Sarah, what do they have to do? They have to call right now, and we'll put together that for you at no cost or obligation. You also get some of my books, written 8 of them. You also get my financial fill-up booklet that tells you my life story, and people love it. You love it, don't you?
I love it. I really love it. But I don't know. You're going to have to change the name when everyone gets their electric cars. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
After the commercial break, we're going to talk more about his 8 books and all of the fun retirement details in them.
Hey, you know the market's going up. You know, we really should put more of that retirement money into the market, not those stupid safety accounts. Now listen, you're getting closer to retirement. You need to be less risky with your money, not more. But think of all the money you could make in the open market today. You want guaranteed retirement money, not what-if retirement money. Oh, you are just so divine. And you want advice from a certified fiduciary, and not this clown.
Help take the devil out of the equation. Call now and schedule your free no-obligation consultation today.
Our podcast, Financial Pizza, brings you our favorite radio segments of the week. Delivering slices of interviews with financial advisors from around the country, along with special reports on a variety of retirement topics. All brought to you hot, fresh, and in 30 minutes or less. Listen on your favorite podcasting app or visit financialpizza.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Financial Safari. I'm Sarah Peterson. I'm here with two-time Emmy winner, Coach Pete, and he is giving me so much good information. Loving it.
Let me tell you, all right, so I've won Emmys for the movie Rudy. Everyone's seen Rudy, the original Rudy. We did Rudy the Walk-On. That's the 25-year anniversary of the movie Rudy. It's available on Amazon Prime at no cost. Rudy the Walk-On. And then another one with Peter Diamandis, who's one of the main brains behind SpaceX. And he's a futurist. He's got some fantastic ideas. That movie is a great movie. It's on Amazon Prime as well, called The Visioneer. And so if you want to learn anything about the future, about what's going to happen, driverless cars, not having to have a closet anymore because you'll have a 3D printer that'll measure you during the night, and the next morning you wake up and you'll be able to pick your outfit on a computer, and it'll be printed out for you. Isn't that cool?
I'll tell you something. My
That's cool.
fourth grader came home with 3D printed keys to get into our house.
That's where we're going. Well, that's kind of scary.
That is very scary. I would tend to agree. One of the things I had a question about, which I know a lot of viewers probably do too, unfortunately, is debt, which is a big piece of this pie.
Yep. I wrote about that in my book, The Fine Print Fiasco, what they don't want you to know when you buy, borrow, and invest. Debt gets more people in more trouble. We've heard the debtor's prison. Like it feels like you're in prison because any money you make, all the bill collectors come and take it, and then leaves you with nothing. So how do you get around that? If you're already in debt, well, we need to put a strategy together to make sure that debt gets paid off. Any extra money you have, if you have an interest rate that's over 10% on credit cards, any extra money you make needs to be put towards the credit cards, not towards anything else. Not saving money over here at a bank where you're making 1/10 of 1% interest. Take that money and pay off. I've seen people with 30% credit card debt.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can pay that credit card off, guess what kind of return you just earned on that money? If you have a 30% interest rate and you're paying that off, you earn 30% because you're not paying it.
Sure.
So it makes a lot of sense. It's no fun to pay bills off, but guess who got those bills to begin with?
Yeah.
You did. So let's pay them off as fast as possible, and then let's turn the tables on the banking world. Let's invest money where we get better than 1%. Let's get 5, 6, 7, 8%. Let's make sure that's guaranteed, and let's make sure we don't give that gain back. That's the biggest problem. I hear about every single day, and you do too. You watch TV, you hear about one stock that went to the moon. And then the next day, they forget to tell you about it again, or maybe it goes back down. Who knows? But like some of the stocks don't go back down, it doesn't seem like, but they always do eventually.
Sure.
And so nothing goes to heaven forever, right? There's no Jack and the Beanstalk account. So there's always termites or whatever kind of bugs. I had a garden growing up, and the cutworms would always eat I used to try to grow my own pumpkin. I would go like Charlie Brown's pumpkin patch, I would be like that. So I'd see a pumpkin start to grow, and all of a sudden it would die, and I'd trace the vine back, and there were worms that were eating the vine away. We have those same kind of worms in the financial world, sucking away your retirement income potential by taking fees out of your money. How much is your broker really making? A lot of people don't know that. If they call themselves a broker, I had a guy once tell me, you know why they call them brokers? Because they make you broker. So be very careful. Deal with fiduciaries who aren't just brokers or aren't brokers at all.
Well, people have their statements, and they know how much money they have. They don't know what they're spending, though.
And here's one step further. The most important part of knowing what your real number is, not how much you have, but how much you get to keep and how much income you're going to get from that money that'd be guaranteed for the rest of your life. That takes a lot of worry out of planning for retirement when you know exactly what kind of income you're going to get all the way through retirement. And then add Social Security on top. That's the cherry on top. It shouldn't be the whole sundae.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
What are people, like when they come to you, what are they scared about most?
They're scared of me a lot of times because they think I'm going to intimidate them. Well, you know, you see me on TV, you think that I'm going to be some untouchable guy. No, we try to make sure to make it comfortable. Most people are scared about, honestly, if they're going to have enough money to make it all the way through retirement. Anyone can make it through a couple years with their retirement account, just taking the balance away. But then when you spend all that money, how are you going to live? So we need to make sure we're not draining down our total lump sum in the first 5 years of retirement. So we put a total income plan together that will pay you a check, regardless of how long you live, for the rest of your life and the rest of your spouse's life. Even if your balance goes to zero, you still get a check. How's that?
That's fantastic.
I guarantee you this, if you go to the bank account, if you go to the bank and you take all your money out and then you come back the next day and want more money, they're going to call the cops because they think you're trying to rob the
Still
bank.
gone.
So we need to have lifetime income that never goes away. It needs to be consistent, persistent, and reliable. Reliable is very important.
100%.
It needs
Well,
to be
this has to
guaranteed in
take
writing.
into account taxes, obviously.
Well, here's another thing. All right, so your 401k balance. I've seen people, they say, I'm a millionaire, coach. I've got $1 million in my 401k. I said, well, you're not really a millionaire. Bad news. Why? Taxes. State and federal taxes in many states. Some states don't have state tax, but you still have federal tax. So if you're looking at a $1 million 401k, and in North Carolina, let's say, you got federal tax come out and state tax, so you really only have about $700,000 of yours. So how do you get around that? Well, we do tax navigation strategy, TNS we call it. We can plan ahead of time to minimize taxes going forward. One of our main tools that we utilize is the Roth IRA. And many of you watching have never really heard of it or don't understand it, but it's one of the best inventions ever. If you had a farm and the IRS came to your farm and they're seeing your plant that year, it's planting season in April, let's say, and the IRS agent takes his sunglasses off and his black suit and he says, I'm going to give you a choice. And it's a one choice only, one choice today, and it's forever. So I'm either going to tax you on that little bag of seeds and you'll never see me again. Or you don't have to pay any tax today, and I'm going to come every single year, and I'm not going to tax you on the seed, I'm going to tax you on the harvest. And I'll be here every single year doing it. Which option will you take?
Take my taxes, please.
First time, right? That's the Roth IRA. You pay your taxes, put the money in that grows tax-free forever and passes on tax-free, and it's the best tool that most of you aren't utilizing, but we do in our TNS strategy, tax navigation strategy. The most important person on the boat is who? The skipper or the navigator? The navigator. Skippers are sitting there twirling the steering wheel and posing for pictures.
I love it. Well, I think a lot of people probably don't realize we're in a historically low tax, bracket right
We
now.
are.
So we need
are.
to take advantage.
All right, so capital gains. I heard somebody say, gosh, I've got a big gain, coach, but I don't know if I should take the money out or not because I don't want to pay taxes. I said, I'd rather pay tax on a gain than have a write-off on a loss. So, folks, let's put together for you your total retirement plan. It has that lifetime income strategy, the financial fill-up, the tax navigation strategy, your X spot, where we'll find out where you are now, and then your most important X spot, the green X spot, where you want to be in retirement. We'll do it all for you. It's over $1,000 value, no cost or obligation. Call right now.
I love it. Thank you so much. I cannot wait till our next show because I want to talk about all the other books and all the other info we didn't get to today.
Yeah, books are fun, but more importantly is getting that individual consultation where someone is actually listening to you, and not only listening, but designing a plan based on what you want and what you need and what you desire, and your family can be happy too. You can all understand it. It works together perfectly. A-team. Hannibal, you say, I love it when a plan works all together or comes together perfectly. That's what we do. We do the A-team plan for you because you can be on our A-team. All you have to do is call right now.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Well, they've earned it. They deserve it. And all they need to do is pick up the phone and call. That's all you need to do. I look forward to our next show so I can learn so much more.
Well, we
It's
love
always a good
all our
time.
clients. We love all our watchers and listeners. Our national radio show, our TV show. But folks, we want to meet you in person. Come on in and get some books, candy bars, and more importantly, peace of mind that you deserve.
If there's chocolate, I'm there. Great to see you.
You too.